Hello and welcome back everyone to episode 27. No wildcard for the Tour de France, as you've probably seen in the previous episode, which means that we have another season left before we get another chance at that wildcard. And in this season we'll ride plenty of difficult races, starting off this episode as well with one, the Tour de la Provence. Time trial in the first stage, then two very hilly stages, which should fit the profile of a Paul Fietske, our time trial specialist, our mountain specialist, kind of like a Wout van Aert. The second stage ending up in a sprint. Let's see if he can pull it off here in this first tour. Next up we have a 1.1 race, the Grand Prix KoRail. What a difficult name to have for a race. A 1.1 Belgium race, which means it is quite cobbled. And again, another chance here for Paul Fietske to prove himself in the first stages of this episode. Last but certainly not least, we have the Tour de Taiwan, a 5-day stage race, which means that there's plenty of opportunities here for us to win. Some hilly stages here, however, all of them ending up in a sprint, but it will really depend on how our climbers will do or how our sprinters will survive those hills. Now let's quickly start this episode off with the first stage here in the Tour de la Provence, a almost 10-kilometer time trial here in this race. We've brought a bunch of riders once again, and as it's a French race, of course, we have Noah Isidore, our newest signee, who's been performing admirably. I think we're already at around 5 wins from the top of my head. He's been performing very, very well. I'm hoping that he can perform well here in this French race. Obviously his home ground, and I'm hoping that will motivate him even more here in this race. Now let's quickly take you through the race here in this very short time trial. We have Fietske with us as well, our time trial specialist, and we are going to show you the course here with him. A very flat time trial, as you can see. There's one timing point here at the halfway mark in this race, which doesn't really happen too much. I think it's the first time that we've had this at a time trial, except for the national championships. But there we can see how we are doing at the halfway point. Again, a very flat time trial, 10 kilometers long. It says that there is a sprint marker in 2 kilometers, but that's obviously the halfway point coming up slowly but surely. No real point where we should put extra effort in. Normally I would like to do it on the inclines, and then on the decline I would like to rest the legs a little bit to regain some energy. You see a very, very slight incline here, but I think it is better in general for these 10 kilometers to just keep the legs steady and rolling all the way towards the end, not exhaust the rider too much here. I probably could have done it a little bit better. You see the red bar is moving slower than the finish line, and I probably should have put a little bit more effort in here towards the end, but there is a little bit of a downhill section here, and that's why I kept it on. So for Fietske to really give a push here towards the final kilometers here, 400 meters here, and he gets across the line here as 15th. Not really the result that we wanted. In the end, ending up in 31st even. So a bit of a disappointment here for us, honestly. Starting this race off around 40 seconds behind the number 1. A lot of our other riders even lower here. You see Asian Verity also almost 2 minutes behind our lowest finisher here in this race. Thomas Benjamin, the French rider here, first in the general classification. We have a 40-second gap to breach here towards number 1. 2 stages, so that will be a very tricky aspect here for us to do. However, this second stage, look at the mountains here in the second stage. I'm hoping that will not be very good for the number 1 in the general classification. Obviously more of a time trialist. Maybe this one is much better here for Paul Fietske or other riders on our team.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome. The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing.
Plenty of mountain points to be had as well. Only one in between sprint section with bonus seconds there though, so that might be worth to take, especially if we want to get closer towards that top position in the general classification. However, again, very hilly in this stage, so it might just be better to stick inside the peloton and try to survive. Noah Isidore, our top French rider here, that has been doing so well in the previous stages is not looking great. Paul Fietske also not looking absolutely fantastic here for us today, so it's a bit tricky here for the team. I'd rather just protect our riders here in the peloton, let the breakaway do its thing, and we'll just kind of gather our people here in the peloton, protect them, make sure they don't lose too much energy, and we'll see you guys at the first couple of mountain points here in this race. Again, a lot of mountain points, very tricky mountain section. Let's see how we'll do here at the final mountain point. As you can see here, Carl Christoph is up ahead. Our sprinter, I'm assuming that he would not do well here in this sprint, especially with that -2 in the statistics. So I'm leading him out here in the mountains. There's still a little bit of a breakaway up front. I'm trying to make sure that we survive for as long as possible here up this hill, trying to move up here as much as possible. We see our riders losing energy very quickly. Our Italian rider, the one Italian rider that we do have, is already out of commission here. Great statistics today, but just not doing so well in the stamina department, I guess. He is still very young, so these races is something he still needs to get used in. And there's still like another mountain peak ahead, so I'm sure that even though there is a little bit of a breakaway, there's at least 2 riders up ahead. I'm sure that these 2 riders will not be able to stay away if we push hard enough. You see the other riders that got left behind a little bit have regained some energy, so I'm trying to gather them back up again here in this downhill section. As we chase after these last 2 riders, we need to catch up to them. There's actually 3 riders at least up ahead. We need to catch up to them past this mountain, because if they get into the downhill section, we will be in a lot of trouble, and that will not be good for us. But we do manage to catch up to these riders, so thankfully we won't be in too much trouble. And you see the peloton actually splitting here on this descent. Again, I'm trying to group our riders as much as possible. Maybe we can do a bit of a lead out here. There is a flat section towards the end. That means that we cannot go into an immediate sprint here going down this hill. The downhill statistics finally paying off here for Owen Cole, who is cruising down all the way towards the finish line, looking really strong here in this race, hitting the downhill section now with around 3 kilometers to go. We need to just make it towards the finish line. A couple of corners here and there, trying to set up the sprint as well as possible, trying to delay it a little bit to make sure that we keep our riders up front as much as possible. 1 kilometer to go. We sprint with everyone that we have. People are kind of blocking each other, but we do manage to exit here in a fantastic position. And Asian Verity actually winning the second stage here of the Tour de la Provence. Noah Isidore in 3rd place, Paul Fietske in 4th, Owen Cole in 6th. And a lot of other riders also finishing in that top 10 position. Only 2 of our riders finishing a bit behind the peloton. But a fantastic result here by our Irish rider. Once again, a rider that went down in statistics in the previous season. Went from around a 5 potential, or 5.5 star potential, I think even. Went all the way down to 3.5 potential, and that is where he is at right now, proving that even with a 3.5 potential, he can win in races like this. And 5 riders in the top 10 in the stage is an incredible performance here by us, even gapping a bit towards that peloton, towards plenty of these other riders. Have we made up enough seconds here in this second stage of the Tour de la Provence to gain the top position here in this race? We will see that in a bit. And Casana Diego, our Italian rider, looking really good in the potentials, but not really proving it here in this second stage. A bit behind the main bunch. I was hoping for him to do better. I was hoping for him to follow us better, even with those potentials, but he's really falling behind our team at this moment. Hoping that he'll improve, though, in this coming season, or in the season that we're at the moment. Paul Fietske moving up 22 positions. A great job here by our German rider. And you can see here a lot of our riders actually moving up. Noah Isidore to 35 positions. Owen Cole 31 positions. Incredible job here by our riders. We are still around 33 seconds behind the number 1. So we didn't gain as many positions as we wanted. We didn't gain as much time on that number 1 position as we wanted. But still a great exit position for us to go into that third and final stages, I should say, here in Tour de la Provence. You can see here Asian Verity moving up 62 positions all the way to a 33rd position as well. Great job here by our riders. 3 riders now close to that top 10 or in the top 10 as well. So that means that we can threaten the top position here in this race. which was fun. Like, we've never had these races before. Obviously, a lot of these 1.1 races are new races for us, and we want to perform in those races as well. We didn't really get the opportunities to really do anything here. While I check out these young riders, Philips and Albert Philips, what an incredible rider, what an incredible potential. Wish I could sign him, but he's already signed on to Little Trek for the 2028 season as well. Let's quickly go to the third stage here. Again, quite hilly, but a flat ending here that should benefit our sprinters and should benefit our riders here, as we are getting ready to take over that top position here in the stage.
So it will be a tactical race. It is under a bright sun that today's race will be run.
At least the weather is good because our statistics are once again not that great. Noah Isidore, one of our top riders in the team, with a -2, so not super for him. Paul Fietske, +1, one of the main contenders here for the general classification, doing really, really well. The rest of our riders not looking so great. I want to sprint away here with our Italian rider. He is not very well positioned in the general classification, lost a bunch of time yesterday as well in the previous stage. So I'm hoping that in the breakaway he can gain some bonus seconds, maybe get a good performance here in this stage. Obviously, if he can make it all the way towards the end, that would be great. I doubt it, to be honest, but I'm just happy for him to be part of this breakaway and hopefully achieve anything, to be honest. But the peloton is hot on our heels as more groups try to jump away, so I don't think he'll make it all the way towards the end here in this very tricky hilly race. On towards the final uphill section. Thankfully, our entire team is still together. Our Italian rider wasn't in the breakaway, as you can see, for very long. His statistics are very close to the rest of the riders, so nothing too special here. And we are in quite the uphill section here. 3 riders still up ahead in the breakaway. They will not last very long here in this race. Trying to lead out now with our sprinters, as you can see, trying to make it difficult also for the other riders in the peloton, making sure that we try to go and move towards the front of this hill as quickly as possible. There are some mountain points up for grabs. It does not matter for us. We just want to make it difficult here on the riders in this peloton and try to push forward as much as possible. Still 12 kilometers remaining. No mountain points here for us. And suddenly the peloton kind of splits here for us. You see our team breaking apart a little bit. Severin Savkoski struggling to stay in the wheel of Noah Isidore. Our entire team is suffering. The peloton is breaking apart more and more. Only 90 riders remaining here in this peloton. Some of our riders have already dropped off the back here in this very tricky race, and we are now in a bit of a flat section before we go slightly more uphill, which should benefit here Owen Cole, our mountain rider. Even with his minus statistics, it should prove well here for him, and he should be able to keep pushing onward here in this race. We are trying to stick it up front here in the peloton. We want to be positioned properly for that final section. Doesn't even go slope down slightly towards the end. It looks like it. So we need to be positioned all the way up front here in this race. 5 kilometers remaining here. Trying to exhaust our riders as much as possible. Trying to make sure that we stick up the front here. More riders falling off the back. Some riders are already sprinting, it looks like. So we just want to make sure that we catch up to those riders. We don't want a breakaway forming now. We don't want any riders to basically sneak in front of us in this circuit that we're currently on. Sorry, I totally missed that we are on a racing circuit for some reason. And I'm trying to sprint here now as we end up in that downhill section, trying to sprint here with our riders. 1 kilometer remaining. I sprint a little bit late here with Paul Fietske. There's a big corner here at the end. Who do we get towards the front here? The French rider on the right, actually, with the proper racing line, gets across the line here as first. And we get 2 of our riders in the 2nd and 3rd position as well. So no Paul Fietske here up front in this 3rd race here in the 3rd stage of the Tour de la Provence. That will not give him any bonus seconds, sadly. And I'm curious what that will do here for the general classification. Not too much, moving him up 1 position at least. Noah Isidore moving up all the way to 12th as well. Severin Savkoski currently in 21st. So at least we move up another position here. A top 10 here for our team. Not really the result that we are hoping for. Obviously, we want to get those podium positions. We are in a good position with our riders to get those podium positions. But a top 10 position is something to be very happy with here. I think we put our bar for ourselves pretty high. And so those top 10 positions here is something to be proud of here with our team. Not even just a top 10, obviously 3 riders in a top 15 position. So pretty proud here of KoRail, proud of our team here and proud of the result just that we've done. So good job, us. On to a cobbled race here in Belgium, the Grand Prix, with a very difficult name. Again, Paul Fietske is part of the rotation. Let's hope he does well.
The race has cobbled sections that are renowned for testing both bikes and their riders. You've got to know what you're doing.
And hopefully we know what we are doing. No positive statistics once again here for Paul Fietske. I'm just really hoping for him to be positioned properly and have good statistics here for this race. That would have been ideal. You see towards the end there are some mountainous structures. There are some cobbled sections here in between in this race. And this is a race that we want to perform in. We have a lot of our riders, a lot of our sprinters here as well to perform, hoping that they will do well here on these cobble sections, hoping to stay in the peloton for now. Again, I don't think the breakaway will make it here in this Belgian race. These cobble sections and cobbled races are notorious for the breakaways to fill because, you know, everyone wants to win them, and the peloton pushes on these stages to make sure that they do not let a breakaway win this. There's always honor in winning these. There's always pride in winning these types of races. And I'm hoping that today we can be proud of one of our riders that will win this Belgian race here, this very tricky Belgian race here. And to showcase that trickiness, let's go to the last 16 kilometers, where we only have 3 riders left with any energy remaining. It's Severy Savkovsky, Paul Fietske, and KoRail Christoph, who is looking actually really good here in this race. Christoph KoRail has been on a tear stamina-wise. He's slowly but surely building up. Remember last season where Christoph KoRail had the first season start of his life, basically winning anything in any race that he performed in? Can we do the same here once again for Christoph KoRail? I'm going to try and lead him out here bit by bit. Obviously, I mean, I'd rather have a Paul Fietske up front, but if KoRail can do well here, if Christoph can do well here, that'd be great. Severy with +1 statistics, so maybe he is the better rider to lead Paul Fietske out on these cobbled sections, which are Paul Fietske's forte. Once again, a guy that can do everything, a Wout van Aert type rider here, our German rider. So I'm hoping for him to do well here, trying to lead out our team as well as possible. A little bit of a downhill section. So I want to be up front here in this tricky section, trying to push the peloton as much as possible. Only 48 riders remaining here in this peloton. I don't want to push on too hard. I want to keep the energy for our remaining riders, or for our riders, to make sure that we lead out properly. But also I want to challenge the peloton. I don't want any last second breakaways like is happening right here. We need to catch these riders right now. I didn't think these riders would have any energy left to really break away, but oh boy do they have energy left for some reason, and they tried to get away as quickly as possible here. Once again, these breakaways at the final part of this race are very treacherous. At the beginning of the race, not so much. Generally, they got caught relatively well, but at the final parts of these races, these will be very, very tricky to follow. Again, another jump away here in this course. We still have 2 kilometers remaining. I have no idea how these riders have so much energy left. A group of 3 is now away here in this race. A bit over a kilometer remaining. I tried to sprint here with Paul Fietske. It is a sprint of desperation here in this corner. He loses his energy a couple hundred meters before the finish line and gets past here on the right of him in this final section of the race. Can we at least get a top 10 here with Paul Fietske? It will be a very close one. No, just outside of the top 10, 12th place here for Paul Fietske in this incredibly difficult race. A very, very difficult race here for us by Paul Fietske. I tried to sprint here also with Severy Savkovsky. Any positions here, any bonus points, any status that we can get here is welcome in this incredibly difficult Belgian race. A 12th place here for us in the start of the Classics season, question mark, as we do have some races coming up that do fit the similar profile, and we do need to perform in those as well, hoping for Paul Fietske and our other racers to find their form and to do well here in these races, these cobbled races, which at the beginning of this season will be very, very important for us. Let's head over to the Tour de Taiwan. Last year we've gotten a 3rd place with Jaewon Jun, the points jersey with Christoph KoRail, and the mountain jersey as well. Mountain jersey for Hong Ji-won as well in that race in the previous season. So we have a lot to prove here once again in the Tour de Taiwan. We want to improve that 3rd place, and obviously we want to keep those jerseys once again this year, especially that mountain jersey. 3 years in a row, let's do it. a very, very flat race, and this should be the terrain of Christoph Kroll. I think this is where Christoph Kroll started off his winning streak. If not here, then maybe another race earlier. But I remember last year Christoph Kroll winning very much here in this race, and then the mountain sections were just too difficult for him to follow. So I'm hoping to do the same thing here once again with Christoph Kroll, trying to send him into the breakaway to get some bonus seconds here. There's 3 in-between bonus points, and they always come after a little bit of a curve. So positioning will be key here in this race. 16 seconds off the peloton now, cruising here with Christoph Kroll, but the peloton is very much chasing here behind the breakaway. We do manage to get towards the first in-between sprint point. I sprint with Kroll. He's in last position, so it's not great for him. Can he at least manage to score in third position here in this first in-between sprint point? No, he cannot. Used up all his red bar, all of his yellow bar as well. 1 minute off the lead here, and we get caught up once again here in this breakaway, or in the peloton, I should say, in the in-between sprint section as well. Sprinting here with Heo and Christoph Kroll. Who can get across the line here first? It is Christoph Kroll. It seems to be Christoph Kroll, at least. Heo as well here in a third, so plenty of bonus seconds to go around here for our team. That means that we have at least 4 bonus seconds for the team. Always a great job here by us. And 1 more in-between bonus section as well, or in-between sprint section as well. So again, position is key. Sprinting here early with Heo. I forget the sprint here with Christoph Kroll, which probably would have been the good choice here as well. Aiming here for Christoph Kroll, aiming here for Heo, and Christoph Kroll gets across the line here, I think, as third question mark. We'll have to double check that after. There we go. Oh, second place here for Christoph Kroll. Great job here by him. Another 2 bonus seconds for him, totaling 5 bonus seconds here for us. That means we are wrapping up this race now. 7 kilometers remaining. Obviously, this will end up in a mass sprint. Popping the energy gels, getting towards the front of the peloton, making sure that we are in ideal position here for this final corner. The finish line will be at the same place as the in-between sprint points, and that means that we have plenty of practice and plenty of expertise here now with our team to be up front in that section. A little bit of a cornery section here. Heo actually struggling to get towards the front here with our team. He's really having a lot of difficulties trying to cruise towards the front of this peloton. The sprint section is already coming up, so I sprint very early actually here with Kim Yoon-sok and Noah Isidore, trying to position our team as well as possible. Christoph gets boxed in here by these riders. Can he make his way past these riders in this last part? No, he cannot, and that means that there's no top position here for Christoph Kroll. No good start here for him. A 4th place for Noah Isidore, 6th place for Kim Yoon-sok. And what a failure actually here for us to deliver Christoph Kroll towards this finish line. The rider that had everything for this win, ending up here as a 9th in this stage. A 4th place here for Noah Isidore. Kim Yoon-sok in 6th, my apologies, and Christoph Kroll here in 9th. In the general classification, Christoph Kroll actually ends up in 4th because of those bonus seconds, so good job by him. Those bonus seconds kind of saving us there. That means actually 4 riders here in a top 15 position, which is pretty good. Top 12 even, if you want to minimize the numbers there. Plenty of points to go around here for our team as well, and we are first in the team classification, always good for us. Jae-won-jun obviously lower in the general classification because of that finishing position, but this is the first stage where the mountain riders will have an advantage. So Jae-won-jun, I'm expecting him to do well here in this race. That last little mountain section will be tricky. If we manage to bring our riders across that little hill successfully, I'm sure we can sprint towards another good position in this stage.
The route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing.
Here we are here in the second stage of the Tour de Taiwan. Again, a good stage here for us to try and get a victory. We are obviously aiming for that top position here. 2 mountain points at the end and an in-between sprint point with bonus seconds. I would have liked to get those points here, but no real chance for us to be in the breakaways. We were quite boxed in. Jae-won-jun, though, in that first in-between mountain section, able to get those mountain points. The full mountain points here for Hwan Jun-jae. which is great for him, obviously, as we want that mountain jersey once again here for our mountain rider. Onto the second in between mountain point. Heo actually leading out Hwanjun J in the mountain section, which is not really Heo's expertise, and therefore Hwanjun J jumping away from the peloton very easily, getting across the line here as first once again in that mountain section. 20 mountain points for him. That means the mountain jersey is secured here in this second in between, or in this second stage of the Tour of Taiwan. Great start here for Hwanjun J of this tour. Let's see how well he can do here in this last section of this stage as well. Again, Hwanjun J is our mountain specialist. This is quite an uphill section that we are heading towards. I don't think our sprinters will be very happy to move up this, I would say, mountain, but it's probably a hill for the Taiwanese regions. So we're moving up here now in this little hill for them. You see the peloton actually braking a little bit here, losing the wheel of our riders. I don't think any other rider really wants to work as hard in this section. They want to keep their riders remaining, so they kind of lost the wheel here of our riders. You see me actually sacrificing, wow, even Christoph losing the wheel here of Heo. What a performance actually by our sprinter. They're doing it incredibly well, and Christoph Kroll actually heads up towards the top of this mountain rather easily, even still has red bar remaining, which is great for him. 1 kilometer remaining, sprinting with everyone that we have. We are loose from the peloton. We did a great job here with our team, and actually Noah Isidora, the puncher, getting across the line here as first. J1 getting across the line here as second. An incredible result here for our team. Christoph Kroll actually doing a really good job here as well, getting across the line as fifth. What an amazing team result here. Yellow jersey part of this little group. We are around 20 seconds loose of the main peloton. That means that we gained 20 seconds on all the other riders. A fantastic job here by our team. Noah Isidora getting across the line here as first, getting that trophy for the stage win. Jaewon Jun getting across the line here as second as well. Wow, 4 riders in the top 10 of this stage. What an incredible performance here by our team. As I just said, 4 riders in the top 10 in the same group, sadly, as the yellow jersey, so no additional seconds gained on him, except for obviously the seconds that we got getting across the finish line. There were mountain points at the finish line of this stage, so we got those for Jae Jun as well. Kim Yeon-sok finishing a little bit later on here in this stage, which is totally okay. That means that Noah Isidora moves up 7 positions all the way to second, and look at Jae Jun moving up 30 positions all the way to third in the general classification. What an excellent result here for our team. A lot of riders here, and you see me checking out some of the Korean riders as I want to get more Korean riders as well, but none of them really have those statistics here in this tour, in the general, or in their general statistics, I should say. I would love to get more Korean riders, and I'm hoping that we can recruit some good ones here at the end of the season as well. Saji won here as well, which might be a chance here for us, but 3 evaluation is not really the ones that we have, especially with a possible Tour de France attendee next season, right? So we want to gear up for those, hopefully with some additional Korean riders, but we'll have to see if that's even a possibility. On to the third stage of the Tour de Taiwan. Again, plenty of hills, but a downhill finish here, perfect for the sprinters.
The profile of the route is a fairly mixed bag, so everybody should find a section to their pleasing. We've got absolutely beautiful weather for this race.
Alright, beautiful weather for this race. Christoph Kroll with +1 statistics as well. Bonus seconds, 2 of them up ahead. So I'm trying to get him into the breakaway once again. He's 8 seconds behind the number 1. 4th in the general classification. So he is in a fantastic position. Hopefully he will be able to be part of this breakaway, and that means that he can get some additional bonus seconds. But sadly, unable to be a part of that breakaway, and now we are struggling in this large mountain here, hoping to deliver Jae Jun all the way towards front. You see how much we are pushing. There was a little bit of a breakaway still away, and we do manage to catch up to those riders, so great job here by us. Noah Isidora, what is his form? Look at that, a +1 for him. Jae Jun sadly with a -1, and he's breaking Jae Jun apart. What a great ride here, honestly, by our two riders, breaking everyone apart here in this stage. A great job here by our riders. And J1 June getting those mountain points once again here. These main mountain points, a good job here by him. On to the last little in-between mountain points here. Again, I want to grab those with J1 June. Two other riders are moving away here, but one of them loses energy just at the line, and J1 June manages to get at least a couple more mountain points here. Second place here for J1 June across that line. 54 points now on in the best climber classification. 27 points here for Noah Isidora, who is second in that climber classification. So we are looking excellent here in that classification. The mountain jersey almost secured here, I would say. Now let's see if we can secure a victory here in this third stage of the Tour of Taiwan. Obviously, we want to stick up front here. Some riders still have the energy to try and break away. There is a bit of a downhill section, so maybe I should have done that as well. This downhill section would mean that it will be very difficult to catch up towards the breakaway, but it's not as downhill as I thought it would be. Once again, I thought this would be much more downhill. You see it sloping downwards, but it's not really percentage-wise too much here, and I'm going to try and deliver Christoph Kroll here towards this finish line. Obviously a very flat finish. This should be perfect for Christoph Kroll. A little bit more than a kilometer to go. I sprint here with Christoph Kroll. Can he make it all the way towards the finish line? There's some riders here on the right side that might come across the finish line as first. Will he make it all first? Yes, he does. A photo finish here, but Christoph Kroll manages to get across the line here as first once again. Great job here, Christoph Kroll. I'm pretty sure he won last season as well, maybe in the first and the third stage. I don't remember. What a result here for Christoph Kroll. First place in the third stage of the Tour of Taiwan. Great job here by him. J1 June getting across the line here as 8th at the same time as well. So no time loss here towards that number 1. And very important here for our general classification position. You see Noah Isidora also getting across the line here as 10th. Great job here by our riders. No gaps here between these groups, so fantastic job here today by our team. Heyo sadly lost the wheel on the mountain, and then it was a struggle for him to get back to the team, so he will lose a lot of positions. But now we have 3 riders in a top 5 position. Christoph Kroll moving up to pushing 2 of our other riders down, sadly. But, you know, still slowly but surely moving himself towards that top position. Our Korean riders doing a little bit worse. Here is Heyo moving all the way down. I'm so sorry, Heyo. You did so well in those first 2 stages, and now you've basically lost all the positioning and all the seconds that you've had. Christoph Kroll, first place in the points jersey. J1 June, first place in that mountain jersey. And as it is now, also the young riders jersey for us, that's great, and second place in the team classification. As it is now, we would have a better statistics than the previous year, but we still have 2 stages left to go, and obviously we want to go for that top spot here. Noah Isidora, one of the favorites here in this race. Let's see if he can make that status come true.
It's an undulating route, so it will be a tactical race.
Two riders, or 3 or 4 riders here up front of this peloton, which is a great sight to see. I'm going to head out and try to be in the breakaway here with Kim Yun-sok. Obviously, plenty of seconds behind the number 1, and any bonus seconds that he can get is great for him. But the real issue is that mountain there towards the end of this race. I don't want to push too hard here with our main riders. I'm hoping for them to just survive this race and do well there towards the end. Obviously, again, a great section there for Hwan Jun-jae, hoping that he will do well there in this final part. And as you can see here, 16 kilometers remaining, 2 riders left here of our team in the peloton. The yellow jersey is far in the back, and Noah Isidora is riding incredibly well. Look at him here, beating basically Hwan Jun-jae in this race, trying to cruise here towards the top of this mountain. The mountain jersey is secured, so no reason to really push on here in this race. As you can see here, 24 points ahead of Noah Isidora, and Hwan Jun-jae just needs to stick on his wheel. Together they can do a good result here in this race. Christoph Kroll, number 3 I think, or number 2 I think, in the general classification, 3.5 minutes behind. The rest of our riders also quite far behind. I want to regain some energy here in this downhill section and keep pushing on here. 28 riders remaining in the front group, including 2 of ours, That can mean that we can get a great result here for the team here today, and making sure that we move up towards that top step here in the general classification if we keep on pushing hard enough. I don't want to lose too much energy, however, so I go be in the wheel of the Luxembourg rider here, in the wheel of Nokkelman, making sure that Hwan Jun-jae tries to conserve as much energy as possible while trying to stick here towards the front of this race. Still 7 kilometers to go. I'm sure that we will sprint here for a final finish here in this race. I think there's a little bit of an uphill section there, so I want to try and keep the energy as much as possible. Again, the speed of this peloton is going up and down and up and down and up and down. A bit of a downhill section here. Once again, more time for our riders to recover some of that energy, that very needed energy, I should say. Less than 5 kilometers remaining. We keep on pushing forward. Now is the time to see if we can get out of that wheel, or do we stay in it, right? We don't want to exhaust our riders too much. We only have 2 riders remaining. There's still that uphill section, 3 kilometers remaining now. Time for Noé Isidore to move towards the front. It is still slightly downhill here, so perfect for us to move our positioning and try to get towards the front of this peloton. It's less than 2 kilometers now. We are heading in that uphill section. Can we make it here as first towards the finish line? Less than a kilometer remaining. I sprint with everything that we got, but it might have been too late here for our riders. It was too late here for our riders. Sadly, these other riders moving up too far ahead of us, too far ahead of the peloton. We sprinted too late here, even though we've used up all our energy perfectly at the finish line. We don't get the result that we wanted here. 2 riders in the top 10 of this race. A big gap towards remaining peloton, but not a podium place here in the 4th stage of the Tour of Taiwan. And as you can see, what does that do for general classification? Noé Isidore actually moving up all the way to first. A great job here by him. Hwan Jun-jae stuck in 4th still, so no result there for him. No change there for him. Still 2 riders in the top 5 position. That means that we would have a better result here if the race ended today. We do have the jerseys as well. Christophe Krol, moving down so many positions. Hyun Suk Kim as well. Heo actually moving up some positions, so great job, honestly, there by Heo. An unexpected result there for him to move up a couple of positions. We should have the points jersey. We do. 43 points here now, shared 43 points here between our 2 riders, so that is looking good here for us. Hoping to keep that, obviously. Hwan Jun-jae very much in the lead of that mountain jersey, and we have the young riders jersey as well at this moment. Far down in the team classification, however, we lost a bunch of positions, so we can forget about that one. But 2 riders in the top 5 with 1 stage left to go. Hopefully we can finish this race off with bringing Hwan Jun-jae a little bit more towards the front, getting him some additional bonus seconds as well, without losing that top position here in this final stage. Again, a relatively flat stage, some mountains there in the middle, but this should be a sprint for the finish.
Hello to one and all. It's going to be a monotonous day when it comes to the terrain, but at least the teams with sprinters won't be complaining. And, of course, those opportunists with a bit of daring won't make their life easy.
I don't think we'll be too much of opportunists today, maybe with Hwan Jun-jae, as there are mountain points and in between sprint points in the beginning of this stage. I don't care too much about those mountain points, to be honest. We have our mountain jersey relatively well secured. If I can get some additional mountain points here in the beginning, I will take it. But those bonus seconds are the reason why I'm trying to jump away here with this rider. Christophe Krol +2 statistics. Great for him here in this relatively flat stage. We do make it as a breakaway group here towards the first in-between sprint point. Again, the mountain points, I don't care too much about it. And Hwan Jun-jae gets across the line here as first. 3 additional bonus seconds here for him. That should move him all the way up towards for a 3rd place, I think, as the 2nd place has the same time as Noé Isidore. So at least a 3rd place here for Hwan Jun-jae. Now some additional bonus seconds here towards the end, the 2nd in-between sprinting point. Heo actually gets a couple of those, and Isidore, I think Noé Isidore also getting some bonus seconds there as well. No real benefit here for Heo to get those points, as he is already quite far off the lead. But I'm hoping for him to move up a couple of positions if possible. On now to that final in-between sprint point. There's 1 rider ahead, so we will not get the full amount of sprint points and bonus seconds, sadly, but we do get a 2nd and 3rd position. That means at least we get 3 additional bonus seconds for the team, and that should move us up into a first and second place here, as long as we do a good finish here towards the end, hoping that any riders in those, or that have a 10-second gap here towards Noah Isidora, will not be among the ones that will get across the line here as first. So we just need to make sure that we are set up now for that final sprint. It is coming very, very quickly, so we need to rush towards the front of this peloton. We need to use as much energy as possible to make it tough for any of the other sprinters here. Bit of a corner, which is always tricky, making sure that we don't lose too much energy. Thankfully, with less than 3 kilometers remaining, we are at the front of this stage. Christoph KoRail sadly losing the wheel of some of our riders. There's a bit of a corner there, so I want to be positioned properly. Doing an early sprint here with our riders. J1 June losing his out on his energy very quickly. We were not positioned properly for that corner. Christoph KoRail stuck behind plenty of other riders as well. Sean Quinn getting across the line here as third, the American rider, and Noah Isidora, our best finisher here, in 5th position. What does this do for the general classification? I'm pretty sure the American rider was in that top 3 position. Will we keep the podium spot? Will we keep that first spot? No, we do not. The American rider now in first of the general classification, and we have a 2nd and 3rd place here for us in this tour. Won Jun Jae does keep his best climber classification, so for the 3rd year in a row we have the best climber classification here in the Tour of Taiwan. A great result here for KoRail. What once was just the objective to get almost is a certainty now for our riders. Noah Isidora getting the points jersey as well, so great job here for us. 2 jerseys at least in the pocket here, the beautiful mountain jersey and the points jersey as well for our riders. Great job here today by our team. The young riders classification is for Noah Isidora as well, so the 3rd jersey added on towards our team. A great job here by our team today. 3 jerseys in the pocket. Noah Isidora, the best rider of our team. Won Jun Jae just behind him by 1 second, so great job here as well by our Korean rider. Almost up to par with our French superstar that we've signed, and is performing really, really well. Again, a 5th place here for Noah Isidora in this stage. The leader of the general classification, moving down 1 position, sadly, making sure that he is now in 2nd. Sean Quinn here in 1st. Great job here by him. Very unexpected, honestly, for that American rider to do so well. But, you know, maybe also something that we need to look into for signing, question mark. We'll see towards the end of this year. I have no real predictions on who we can sign or who we will sign. It is what it is. Christoph KoRail, who should have won 2 stages, only won 1 stage in this tour. Sadly, no good result for him in the last stage of the Tour of Taiwan as well, so it was a bit too tricky for him. But in the end, a pretty good result here for our team. We keep that mountain jersey. We now also have that points jersey. Young riders jerseys for us, and Noah Isidora with a 2nd place, and Won Jun Jae with a 3rd. That brings our total victories to 5. I put this back because I think it is good to have the faces with the names, and then it gives a bit more personal feel towards the riders. So that is back as well. And we have the total points overview. Almost 1,000 points here for us at the start of the season. It is only the 2nd episode of the 2027 season, and we're almost at 1,000 points already. So we are doing extremely well. Again, Noah Isidora, what a great result here by him. That's it for now. Thank you once again for watching these episodes. I do truly appreciate it, even though the subscribers have been going down, sadly, the last couple of episodes. I appreciate all of you that do keep watching them and do keep enjoying them. If you want things to be improved, please let me know on what I can improve. It is very tricky for me to put a lot of time into this, but I'll do my best to try and, put those improvements through. That's it for now. Thank you again for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye.